When I was 16 and a half, I belonged to the Children of Mary at Immaculate Conception Church on Gun Hill Road. And there was the Holy Name Society, which had all the men and young boys in it. And we girls used to serve them breakfast once a month. They used to receive communion, and we were asked to please serve them, which we did. And this particular fellow kept looking at me and staring at me, and as I passed him by, he tapped me in the shoulder and suggested that he wanted to say something to me. But he did not ask me to marry him that particular time.
Well, I'm glad on first meeting, goodness.
Yeah. So therefore, it also occurs that my father and my husband's father were very good friends at church. They also belonged to the Holy Name Society, and they were ushers at church. They also helped the poor of the parish, St. Vincent de Paul Society. Okay. And we used to have bazaars at the church. I was not permitted to date because the old-timers did not permit their daughters
This was back.
to go out with boys.
This was back in the
This was back, I would say,
late 20s.
about 1922,
Oh, okay, early 20s.
because I was married at 1923.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so finally I went to a dance with my brother, the Veterans of Foreign War, and who was there but this particular fellow whom I had met previously in church. That's the only way you could have contacted anyone. And I was selling chances to help, sell chances for the club that my brother belonged to, because he was a veteran. And when I approached this particular fellow named Frank, who had previously spoken to me, that he was interested in me and so on, he looked at me and he said, "Give me whatever you're selling there," whether it was one book or two books, and I handed them down to him and he gave me all the money for it. He didn't want me to go any further.
In a Hollywood movie. This is great. I didn't know this.
So finally, when I was nearing 17 years of age, this fellow, being the two fathers knew one another, his father, my father,
It's fine.
he asked me if I would marry him. I said, "Oh, I'm too young for anything like that," because he was 8 years older than I am, and he was interested in marriage, but I was still a growing child, but I was a very serious girl, for my age. I looked older than I really was. So finally, his parents came over to our home, mother and father, and spoke to my dad. That was customary at the time. I'm talking about 1922, of course. And my father said, "Well, if the two of them really care for one another, it meets with my approval. But my daughter shall not marry before she's 20 years of age," where she is now, nearing 17. At 17, we had the engagement party. He gave me a beautiful ring.
Did he pick
And
it? He picked it out then? You didn't pick it out back then.
No.
Those days. He would just bring you a ring.
Family chose it.
Okay.
They gave me a lavalier with diamonds, earrings to match with diamonds,
Oh, how pretty.
and the engagement ring, all at one time. They thought very highly of me for some reason or other. Any time that I walked into their home, they'd make me find a bouquet of flowers on their piano.
That was for you?
Wasn't it?
That
Yeah.
was really neat.
So let's go on with the story. It never materialized that I waited till 20 years of age, because as the time went by and my husband got a year older and I got a year older, they thought it was time that they should think about having the wedding. I finally was married at 18 years of age in 1923, December the 8th, to be exact.
Peace to the Immaculate Conception.
Peace to the Immaculate Conception.
During the year you're engaged, what kind of things could you do? Could you go off alone together? Or?
Even after we were engaged, we were not permitted to date or anything. The furthest we ever got to walk together was going to Mass